So the innovation points of our products are actually similar to the differentiator when we are talking about what is the product that has some of the features that are different from the rest of the existing solutions, whether they are from market or the traditional ways of solving some problems. And that, my dear, is very important. And as we see, some of those things are different when they are creation points, which means that you are insane enough to build some legendary inventions that are potentially a moat for your future company if you build it up, because it is something that is groundbreaking, and we call it something that would leave a very big impact to the society. And now moving back to what we are doing, it's usually software and application innovation that we are building in the hackathons with AI. So what we want to do is we bring better products with love to solve the problems right here, right now, for all of the people on Earth. And yes, while we see that many people say to be innovation, we don't know how are the ways that are being accepted in the market, or what are the types of innovation that we want to see in technology. So here are the conclusions that I make myself, that even when I key this into AI, it says, oh, it might not be like the existing innovation, because oftentimes we hear innovation as a word that hype us out when we say that we want something better. But let us specify something here. So first, maybe your product is more cost effective. Well, in other words, it cuts down the cost to build or manufacture something. So usually AI can do this easily because it can do automation. So for example, maybe last time we need to hire like many of the social media marketers, but right now we only need a few who are the decision makers, who are the talented social media marketers, and help us with some of the AI tools that are running on automation. And then also there is like the higher quality. So this one is the one that we aim for most of the times. There might be something, let's say in the healthcare industry that I have been in, that we use like a large amount of time to craft out some of the forms for people to fill up. And then we can see that while filling up form to see if this person have some of the symptoms, we actually don't know about how many percentage of the accuracy this would be. But with AI, most of the times we can detect with a high accuracy to how many percentage of the impact or causes of something that is on this person that is causing how many percentage of the symptoms in this person having a certain disease, let's say cataracts in the eyes, while the AI is seeing all these images and analyzing the images, the eyes, or maybe in mental health when this person is updating all of those mental health symptoms in one of the projects that I've built that could generate a very specific percentage of the mental health therapies that are suitable to this person. And then for more users are satisfied, it means that it's more fun, more useful, more convenient and satisfying. Yes, as simple as it sounds. Why do we just go into OpenAI and see OpenAI Playground? Well, it's a playground right now because you want to have fun with the people and you want to let more people have fun. If today it is a boring way, a boring process of solving a problem, well, people would be bored and they would feel like they want to escape. So what we want to do is we want to use AI to make them feel like, oh my God, this is so interesting. And they would be interested in it. And this is the innovation that not many people talk about. And then moving on to solving problems faster. Well, this thing is how we save the time in each of our progress. So from all the things that I've mentioned just now, you can see that from maybe last time, posting some of the social media posters, we take maybe days or months to design something. But now with the help of AI, maybe we will take weeks. And last time identifying like a certain disease, we need to take like months, but now maybe only like an instant. So it is time saving. It is solving the problem in the status quo that we waste too much time dragging our problems. And in the healthcare industry, we can also see that it's about saving a person. And in some other industries, for example, it's about efficiency and productivity. And that is why the innovation in this field is so that important. Get straight into the point. So for humanistic, the only question that we need to ask is actually, yeah, does it empower people? And I love how there is help and understanding just now because it's all about it. Okay, you can say this sentence or rephrase it in any words, and you'll find out that it means the same. When we see human, like does it empower humanistic? Ambition, like how everyone in the team is doing what you aim for. So you have something in mind, but having a mission actually means that you want to be a set and you want to set it. So the whole team is actually doing the same thing, um, which means that in the bigger picture, they are going to achieve the same goal. Well, let's say you want to build something that helps in fintech. So the whole team needs to know, like, let's say we want to solve a big problem in the financials that many people don't know where to view their Web3 wallet. Then you want to set out, like, for each person, they would know what they need to do to achieve the same mission. And then moving on, we are going to compare that's non-humanistic, which shows us that maybe they are just like the people who call, they replace the other people only because we know that for the humanistic values and the humanistic projects, they always empower people instead of only replacing them. And that's why most people, when they say how AI is going to replace jobs or whatever, it's only for the non-humanistic projects. And we see that from the non-humanistic side, we also see how it's only beneficial to one party. So, like the project shows all the selfishness over there. But from the humanistic side, you see love, kindness, and joy, respect by how the project is designed with each possible step. So you know the traits that are lying behind by just viewing. And then also from the non-humanistic, you see scams, dishonesty. And from the humanistic side, you see people who value the customers and they value the feedbacks. So for example, like on the non-humanistic side, I want to stress this out that there are many of the companies are leaking personal data without consent. And of course, they are being caught. And I'm going to show you later. And for the examples of the humanistic sites, they protect their personal data. They have all these GDPR and data laws that they follow. And then from the non-humanistic, they have actually been funding their projects, but they don't even want to achieve some of the goals that they have promised to the investors because they only funded for the money. But then we see that most of the times, what have been providing us are the ones that have funded and actually meet the expectations. Also, they provide some of the open source tools, maybe like OpenAI, or they have free or cost effective products and services along the way. Cost effective is like not only telling people that you sell it for a high price, but you sell it for a reasonable. And then moving on, we can see that there is a big comparison in designing your product and knowing which path you want to take. When we compare the examples right here, I need not say much because you can see of how even Interpol would issue red notice. Well, red notice is something that is so big that they would be catching this person no matter where you are, which means that you have been making a big scam and unethical hacking of some of the tech companies, and then some of the tech companies like a voice deepfake was used to scam a CEO. The person behind this is well known after being caught. If this person is being caught, and the reputation is not good, and to the community is not good, and to the people around you, you are using this technology, this knowledge that you are blessed with, you want to use it for good. Like all these things that you see, you can create endless of possibilities that would actually be good to many people, and you will leave like good impacts along the way. Like even after our mortal self are gone from this world, just imagine all those good things and all those good projects that you have been working on long ago. It would become a legend, actually. And most importantly, it would be a great thing for all of the people that are affected positively. So let us say that we want to empower people by maybe generating ideas to automate a company. This is actually some of the examples that I want to start with because it is easy to understand. And GPT-3 can actually be used to do that, yes. So if you are like having a headache from figuring out what type of company idea you want to have, you can always use this as well. And empower people by using AI to build the generated ideas. Yes, after generating ideas, of course, you want to be building them. It's something that I prototype using GPT-3 only, and it's amazing. Relive the wisdom of history's greatest mental health pioneers. Well, imagine chatting with Sigmund Freud. Never imagine having that kind of conversation, do we? So we also empower people by having a chat with any masters. Yes, it is as stated just now. This is just like the back end of it. That was like the front end prototype. So you can see that from this simple GPT-3 playground, you're capable of generating something that is behind the whole business idea with a humanistic mission. And it is totally possible. So let's view the examples one by one. We have touched so much about GPT-3, and actually, I have typed this out that you can use it for any kind of ed tech that we say, which are education technology, like the Menti that I used just now to have interactions with you as one of the ed techs, but it is not using AI. So do you have any ideas using it? I'm not trying to spoon feed you right here because I have already browsed through and seen some of the ideas that are amazing in the community. So I just want to let you know, like, which type could you use if you're under the category of customer service, journalism, education, and some of the fields that require responsive things to some of the questions, then you could use GPT-3. But what if you are in some of these fields, which we say that you will require people to analyze data from sensors? Well, then you might be in the field of like natural disasters, like telling people that there's earthquake, there's hurricane, you gotta go. So you want to use codex, okay, which is also taught right here. And then, of course, there is Whisper. So under this, Let us see if you're under the field of cyberbullying and online radicalization. Yes, it is something to be addressed, but not yet. Yeah, you can definitely use Whisper. So, as we have stated from the previous kickoffs and previous workshops by the other speakers, this is like the NLP that can help you analyze the social media data. So, from the humanistic value, it is responsive to the potential threats. So, we can see that there are also some of the group chats or some of the communities that have some of the chats that we might not have. We might not actually be wanting them. So, we might be using Whisper. And moving on, okay, we want to see the issue. So using the API, of course, is different from the using the generator itself. Well, but for all of these pictures, I just want to tell you that it could be used for educational materials. So, for example, generate a picture of Slumberland, then I could use it in a mental health technology talk or in the social media of a mental health company that you have to rest well. And because these pictures are just so calming, they can also draw the attention of the other people and bring out the message and bring out maybe something that you advocate for. Well, I advocate for mental health, but you might advocate for the other people. Or you might have the target audience that are advocating for something. That is something that you could think of. And it also helps like designers and artists to explore new ideas. That is, of course, because for some of my fields, like from the other text to image generator that I have used, I have also figured out chromotherapy. But there are also some of the fields that they use some of the pictures, not just pictures, but also textures, maybe for topography in some of the 3D designs. Well, I don't know. But here are just some of the ideas for you from a humanistic view about how we could put it. And yes, of course, there's GPT chat. Well, in this session, we talk so much about GPT-3 also throughout our workshops, but we touched a bit about GPT chat, and it had been a hype in the industry. I believe you knew it. So we see that it is an NLP that is so strong, that it is so responsive to any of our questions, except for some of the opinions or emotions that you asked it, it could not do. And it is also not search engine, it is only NLP. So what it could do is it could help the people who have disabilities to communicate. Yes, you heard me well. It is insane because it is helpful in terms of healthcare also always and in any of the fields that you could think of. So as we always use last time, we already have some of the chatbots that are automatic that are actually telling the clients what to do when they go online shopping. So what you see from GPT chat is, or any of these AIs that I mentioned, is that they are more humanistic. This is different from like the mission that we talk about. This is in terms of how we interact with them. We feel as if it's a person, like more human compared to last time when we only use chatbots that are automated using the usual codes that we leave right there because they only generate questions for people to click. Like if you have used some of those tools, for example, the messenger tool that you have chatbot or last time like Instagram, only the business accounts, like they could have chatbots go there, but they are like not as human even as GPT chat or some of the AIs we mentioned here, or GPT-3. So when we have some kind of interactions of this level right now, it is seen as a big innovation So we want to know like how we use it. And of course, from the healthcare that I've mentioned just now, like last time, maybe we don't know about um, how to use like AI, or maybe if you have seen like Hawking, yes, I mean Hawking where this go black hole, and you could see like there are some of the tools back then which are used. And what if we are replacing some of the tools inside with GPT chat? Those are some of the like recommendations and some of the imagination of mine. But you could definitely be building something that is way more insane, effective, and innovative than all this. So here is just something like I've typed in list down humanistic missions for mental health projects, and it is giving me promoting mental well-being and preventative care for individuals and communities, providing accessible and affordable mental health services. You see all these things. So if you are running out of ideas, you could also ask it. Yeah. The very good thing about all these tools is that you can use it when you have doubt, and you can use it to build something good along the way. And that is something insanely cool. So next up, we want to talk about risk. Yes, we are all hyped up about AI, but then when we talk about like building these MVPs right here, if you don't know what is MVP, it's basically something that we build, that we prototype, and we use it for a small market. Let's say we run the A/B test using MVP, and only then we would move up to the market. So before that, while building the MVP, we would see all these potential risks that are coming up. And do not, I repeat, just do not ignore them. Note them down, target them, lower the risk. And right here, you can see me writing on the screen, minimize the potential risk. Yes, and I write there, I repeat, minimize the potential risk. So why is it so? Because most of the times you see on the right here, on the right, high risk, high return. But it is something that we always hear, and we kind of ignore that it is actually high risk, non or high return. So why is it? So if you have a little bit experience in investing, maybe just saying, not investing all kinds of companies. Like let's say some of the people they are investing short term and like high risk, high return. They say, oh, throw all the money in the market. So this is not a financial advice, just an example. And you see that sometimes because it is high risk. Well, what does it mean by high risk? Is that there's a potential that you lose everything. So when they say high risk, high return, it also means that high risk, none, or high return. That's what it means. So in that example, we can see that it is same in building a product. And when we see ourselves in building a product, we always think that, oh, like let's say for healthcare products especially, I wouldn't be releasing a product before I have like trained the AI properly, because there are so many risks that we don't know. And for example, you can see many AI chatbots that are providing like mental health therapies in the field. They have been partnering up with many, and I do mean many of the mental health care professionals, psychiatrists, psychologists. We have been meeting people, collaborating with many people, and train the AI to the point that the risks have been lowered. So that is something we do in the field, that we don't want it to have such high risk. So that is why I put here low to no risk, little to high return. So even though it is like little to high return, we would be not having so much risk that we could learn how we want to be having a higher return along the way. So here you can see minimize the potential risk. And I just want to repeat, minimize the potential risk, minimize, minimize, minimize. It's something that you want to do. You want to be someone who is irresponsible. And I know it might be weak. And this is why I put an example using some of the pictures right here that might be helpful for you or for you to explain to some of the team members in your team. Because sometimes, just now I saw that many people interacted with me and told me that we are building startups. So what does startup mean? It means that you just form a new team. You want to get aligned with them. We already had a mission just now. We already know what we want to build. We must note down all the risks. But how do we explain to them that these risks are important and we have to manage risks? Now, I know that out there you can search or you can ask AI how to manage risk, but I want to talk something from my own experience for you and give you a metaphor. So here you can see, can ask you a question. Why do you think the aeroplanes that we see are like landing on big spacious airports? Like they always find this big land and then want to pave it so that the land is even out, and they want to make sure that there are no obstacles, like even if it is raining, they would say that, oh, maybe it is like a potential hazard over there. We might be delaying our flight. Why do you think they're doing that? It is because they're managing risk. So whenever you have some of the things that you see that you don't know whether you are managing the risk, you just ask yourself, is this something, like, is this situation that when an aeroplane is facing, like pilot is facing, he or she would land on? Well, it is a metaphor for us because you can see on the right, well, some of the mini airplanes, they might land on like a building and they don't have such skills. So what happens is that you see fire, you see accidents, you see people dying. Yes, that is what happens also. Well, in terms of building products, people don't really die for real unless you are in the healthcare field or you are in some of the fields that are causing death, which are even more critical. But you see of how if you don't do risk management, it is very likely that you don't have chances to fix your failures, and it would require unnecessary steps from the start. Let's say like building and renovating this building again when you could have just be learning how to like land on the safe area. So this is something that we want to clarify, because if you just look into the field, most people say that, oh, it's okay if you fail. It's okay if you fail very hard as long as you get up. Or we listen to things like, oh, if you fail 7 times and then you get up 8 times. Well, that is true. Failing does not mean that you do not do risk management. Well, this is important because we are so used to failing, and failing with risk management and without it is totally different. Because, like, let's say in this hackathon, if we fail by meaning that we have not been winning like the first prize, okay, it's okay. We can learn how to build the thing and we can leave good impact, and it's okay. But if we fail by means of, I just published a healthcare tool right there, and people actually get some of the potential risk from using it, then it is something that we do not want to see. It is a failure without risk management. Okay, so we have talked a lot about it because it is an important topic to know while building something and lowering the risk. Yes, I talk about this because are there people who actually still want to land on a building? Yes, of course. feel free to do it, but only after you have learned skills. So I already told you about some of those cases that would have high risk, but it does not mean that in the future you could not be lowering the risk. And how we lower the risk is being better for right here is to get the team with people with the needed skills. And most importantly, they are actually willing to be trained consistently to build up the necessary skills in the future. So right here, you might be seeing someone like this, and you might have been listening to me having some of the examples. So I have mentioned just now, so with this AI chatbots, for example, that would provide some of the therapy, maybe CBT, along the way when I'm chatting with it. So what I want to do is there are risks that this person might be chatting with this chatbot and suddenly feel a need to commit suicide. So what do? I integrate inside this chatbot that whenever this person is having some of the words like killing, harming anybody or himself or herself, or like feeling totally insane, then I would just like generate a lifeline over there. That's my bottom line. And also on those things that I could control that are within my field, I also need to design many things, like many precautions into what I need to do. Like let's say this person is like chatting with me and this person is chatting with the AI chatbot that is generating some weird stuff still, then I'm not gonna be able to publish it yet until this chatbot is up to a level that is talking with the person and not harming the person, not teaching some of the things that harm people. Then only I can publish it. So except from this example, we can see that from the example of OpenAI, from GPT-3 or ChatGPT, they are so good because from ChatGPT itself, you try to ask like, how do you feel? Or you try to say like things like, maybe kill somebody. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just telling you that whenever you type these things out, you can see that ChatGPT is going to generate a message saying that it does not have emotion, it does not have feelings, it does not provide opinions, and things like that. Why is it so? Why is there always a limit? Because these limits, these borders, are restricting us from certain dangers. And these things are oftentimes seen as the things that will help us lower our risk tremendously. So in any fields, no matter what kind of AI we're using, we want to be doing the same thing. We set borders around it, not because like we don't want it to have the freedom of generating. We give it enough freedom. It's as if a game. It's as if managing an organization. It's as if managing any of the communities. We give them these lines, these borders, so that they would not be causing more harm. And then these borders, we don't just always set them. They are not just fixed. We can always look at the side of the borders and see if we have the potential to solve some of the problems over there, use our skills, leverage our skills, or leverage any of the connections that you meet in the hackathon that could help you. Well, you see, like over here, we have 4 logos. In this hackathon, we also have 4 collaborating companies and organizations. So you see how we want to be like moving these borders and expanding these borders to the point that we are helping people and also within our ability. And with that, I think everyone could get it. And if you don't, or if you have any questions, feel free to always put into the chat box. And yes, over here, I'm going to tell you a bit about who I am and why am I telling you all these things. So I'm Fiona Chee, as introduced just now. And then I am focusing on mental health technology in biomedical engineering field, currently UTM students from Malaysia and on Earth. Well, I have been leader for more than 10 mental health technology projects. Well, they involve different kind of things, robotic to like Arduino to some of the AI tools and to some Web3 tools and the other things, hardware, software, and anything. Well, I use some of the tools that are existing or beta because if they are in beta version, I'm willing to know what are their borderlines, as I have said just now, what are the risks that I need to manage just now so that I could actually use them for good as well.